The heelside back roll is the flip or invert that most riders learn first on a wakeboard. In this video, I will go over a 4-step process that is a lower impact series of steps leading to the back roll or your first invert. By following these steps, you can greatly reduce the impact you will take while learning, but also learn the physics behind what actually makes you flip. In this illustration, we compare a wake-to-wake attempt at a normal riding boat speed of 21 miles per hour and a typical hang time of 1.2 seconds with a rope length of 70 feet to an air back roll at a slower boat speed of 17 miles per hour and a typical hang time of 0.8 seconds with the same rope length. On wake-to-wake attempts, you are not only traveling forward across the water, but also across the back of the boat, so the impact is almost doubled compared to an air roll attempt out in the flats at a slower boat speed that just travels only forward and not across. The end result is you travel almost double the distance at double the speed when you edge and flip across both wakes, so the falls will hurt a lot more and the risk of injury will be higher. For the first 3 steps in this low impact process, you aren't actually trying to land the back roll. You will take some falls and you should be focusing on getting pop using the load and release method. In the first step, you will try to find the load and release pop by leaning on and off your heelside edge out in the flats beside the boat. Shorten your rope to about 60 feet and slow the boat down to about 16 to 17 miles per hour so the board will sit lower in the water, which makes it easier to load the line. You should lean back with a tall position and relaxed arms so you have leverage and the rope feels like a bungee cord that will catapult you forward. If you have the correct bounce or load and released, you should have enough momentum to get thrown forward over your toe side edge. If you take some falls over your toe side edge, then you are loading the line correctly. Once you feel the load and release pop, load one up hard and try your first heelside back roll, or an air heelside back roll out beside the boat in the flats. Again, your intention is not to land it, but to make at least 3/4 of the rotation so the board lands back on the water and you fall back away from the rope. Keep the handle for most of the rotation and then throw it back toward the wakes so you land away from it. Once you have the air roll pop consistent, move to the center of the wake to try an inside out back roll. Lengthen your rope out to 65 feet so you move back a bit to find the meaty part of the inside lip. The inside wake will give you a bit more height when you combine it with the air back roll load and release method. Have the boat driver increase the speed to about 19 miles per hour and also turn the boat a bit to stand up the inside wake that you will be edging through. Start on the inside face of the wake and drift down toward the middle a bit and immediately load hard back outward toward the flats on your heelside edge to load and release the flip. You should flip a bit more than the air roll since the wake will give you a bit more height. Again, release the handle and fall back away from the boat. Try this a few times before you move on to the next step. For the next step, or one wake back roll, lengthen your rope out to about 75 feet so you have room to land in the middle of the wakes without landing on the second wake. Keep the boat speed at 19 miles per hour so the wake is clean enough to jump and initiate the back roll. For this step, I like to use a double cut so riders will load and release properly when they get to the wake. Do a few double cut one wake jumps so you get the timing down before you try your first one wake back roll. You can really see how I exaggerate 2 separate edges, which helps me load the line a second time to create good pop at the wake. After a few jumps, use the same approach and load the line the second time into a one wake back roll. Try to land on the board without the rope and either fall back away from the boat or try to ride away during this step. Again, try this a few times to get the pop and the rotation more comfortable. When you feel comfortable with the pop and rotation, shorten the rope 5 feet to about 70 feet and increase the boat speed to 21 miles per hour for your first wake-to-wake back roll attempts. For this, you can either use the double cut method or just a single edge to clear both wakes and initiate the back roll. If your pop suffers with just one edge, revert back to the double cut method to improve the load on the line. Take a bit more of an aggressive approach toward the wake to guarantee that you clear both wakes. You may case the wake on your first few attempts, and it's okay to either let go completely as you come around for the landing, or just let go with your back hand to try to balance on the landing. Eventually, you will establish comfort and control enough to continue your edge out away from the wakes to land stable against the rope.